They're calling it the biggest political miscalculation in modern American history. And no, I'm not talking about the Maduro arrest. I'm talking about the Democrats' reaction to it. The very party that held a No Kings protest across the nation mere weeks ago are now openly supporting a tyrannical dictator. And Latino voters have had it. Make sure to stick them to the very end of this video because we're going to see how Trump's decisive action in Venezuela, along with the Democrats' political blundering, may have just handed the Republican Party the Latino vote for the next 30 years and beyond. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here celebrating yet another day in Trump's golden age that you made possible back in November of 2024. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Something extraordinary is happening in our nation. There is a political realignment that's literally taking everyone by surprise, even including your Patriot Professor. If you had told me, say, this time last year, that one of the single most TDS-infected TV personalities on the planet, I'm talking one of the most vicious, vile, frothing at the mouth anti-Trumpers who daily spews her venom on ABC's The View, that very same woman would actually get on national television and openly defend and champion President Trump for what he did, I would think you were smoking crack. I think you were hanging out with Hunter Biden. There would be no conceivable scenario where I think that even remotely possible. But as they say, hell has officially frozen over.
Your question, who voted for this? The people in South Florida. The Venezuelan community, the Cuban American community, the Nicaraguan American community voted for this. And for us, this is a very, very happy day when we see a dictator who has been part of oppressing and abusing the Venezuelan people for 25 years. When we see him in handcuffs and held to some sort of accountability, it brought me into tears. It brought me great joy. And, you know, I live in South Florida.
But are you okay with the way that it was done?
But you can, I think both things can be true.
Okay.
I think you can criticize and ask questions and have concerns about the way it was done and what this means in the future.
Right.
And I think you can still celebrate that this murderous, corrupt, sadistic son of a bitch is out of Venezuela.
Yeah.
Because he has, I think there's 8 million Venezuelan exiles all over the world. People have fled from this man's tyrannical rules.
Yep. Pigs really do fly. I mean, you just heard that. You heard that with your own ears. You just heard Ana Navarro, who has made a career over these last 10 years frothing at the mouth daily with Trump derangement syndrome. Even she has at least partially seen the light here. And she's not alone. Have you seen the polls of late? Even CNN is admitting that there's been a surge of support for Trump's arrest of Maduro.
Okay, U.S. military ousting Maduro. Pre-ousting, what you saw was the clear plurality of Americans opposed at 47%, just 21% support. Come over to this side of the screen. After the ousting, look at that. The support through the roof. Now we're talking about 37%, well within the margin of error right here of the opposition, 38%. It turns out Americans like what they deem to be successful foreign policy operations. And in this case, they view the ousting of Maduro, at least up to this point, as a successful one, and therefore the support way up.
Yeah, before underwater, now basically even. What about the idea of putting Maduro on trial here in the United States?
Yeah, you know, part of the reason why I think that the success number is way up, and you saw it here, what was it? It was 26 points in favor of opposition, and now within the margin of error, is because they simply don't like Nicolas Maduro. And in fact, they believe that he should be on trial for drug trafficking. Look at this, 50% of Americans favor compared to just 14% who oppose. So there are very few Americans here who oppose it. Even among Democrats, the opposition number is below, get this, just 24%, is below 25%. So this is something that unites Republicans. It divides Democrats. And at this particular point, support for the operation way up. And in terms of those who favor the drug trafficking trial for Maduro, that is a clear plurality.
And that's the key, what Harry Enton just said there. This arrest appears to be uniting Republicans while dividing Democrats, which is one of the keys to Trump's success overall. What we're seeing in this political realignment that's happening all across the country is that Republicans are uniting all the while Democrats are dividing. And originally it was actually over wokeness. Woke issues consistently split the left while uniting the right. So you take any woke issue, whether it's trans athletes in female sport or DEI or CRT in the classroom, whatever it is, woke issues are only supported by about half the political left. The other half, the Bill Maher half, absolutely despises all things woke. So wokeness splits the left, but at the same time, it unites the right in that the whole of the right despises all things woke. What we're seeing here is a new kind of split on the left where Latinos are increasingly defecting away from the Democrats. And this has been a pattern that's been going on now for the last several years. Harry Enton of CNN recently pointed out that Latino voters have swung to the GOP by 40 points since 2020 on the issue of who do you trust on immigration. So Democrats had a 32-point lead in 2020, whereas the GOP now has nearly a 10-point lead on that issue. So that's why places like Starr County, Texas, that's a border county, 98% Latino. It voted Democrat in every presidential election for the last 100 years, but in 2024, they all defected and they voted for Trump. It was the first time in a century that Starr County, again, 98% Latino, shifted from blue to red. And what happened over this weekend with the arrest of Maduro only served to further solidify that shift. I mean, look at these numbers, gang. Among Venezuelans living in the United States, a stunning 64% support U.S. military intervention to remove Maduro. 64, but that's a supermajority. A supermajority, as it turns out, that includes even the likes of otherwise TDS-infected Ana Navarro. But that supermajority turns out to be a microcosm of a far more massive supermajority that's in the making as we speak. It's actually being called the Trump Coalition, and it's promising to reshape politics for the foreseeable future in ways that have the Democrats absolutely panicked. Wait until you see this. Guys, let me be straight with you. Your body is betraying you. Decades ago, a 30-year-old man on average had testosterone levels that would now today be considered very high. Well, today, men are walking around with levels that would have been typical for a 70-year-old in past generations. You heard that right, a 70-year-old. It's insane. Studies show that even among men with normal body mass, average total testosterone in the United States has dropped 25% in just the last 15 years. Every year after age 30, you lose approximately 1% of your testosterone. So it's not just aging. It's things like environmental stressors, poor nutrition, lack of recovery, and toxins that are accelerating the decline. Now, what does that mean for you? It means low energy, low sex drive, poor recovery, brain fog, less muscle, more fat, a creeping sense that your body is just slipping away. Now, the good news is that you don't have to accept this. And you certainly don't have to rely on synthetic hormones or risky injections or pills with side effects. You can fight back with Mars from the Wellness Company. Mars is non-GMO, free of gluten and dyes, and delivered in amber glass to protect potency. This isn't just another, pump you up pill or synthetic hormone replacement. In fact, it doesn't have anything to do with synthetic hormones. Mars works with your own body's systems to optimize hormonal balance, increasing what's naturally possible, not forcing it. Imagine waking up feeling sharp, energetic, with drive and focus. You get rewarded at the gym and recover faster. You connect deeper with your partner. You feel like a man again, not just surviving, but thriving. And it gets even better. When you commit to Mars, you'll discover precisely why your lifestyle is crushing your testosterone. You'll discover how to pair Mars with your diet, workouts, and stress reduction for maximum impact. And best of all, how to take control of your masculinity without relying on synthetic hormone injections or risky protocols. If you're done feeling muted, foggy, and stuck, now's the time. Don't wait. Every day you delay, that 1% decline continues. Take action right now. Reclaim your strength, your drive, your masculinity with Mars by your side. Visit twc.health/Turley right now. Use code Turley and get 15% off your order. Again, that's twc.health/Turley. Don't let modern life rob you of your masculinity. Reclaim it with Mars today. Take a look at what's happening in Florida, the epicenter of Venezuelan American political power. So in 2024, Trump won the city of Doral, it's basically Doralzuela, as the locals like to call it, by 23 points. He won Miami-Dade by 11 points. Now keep in mind, Hillary won Miami-Dade 8 years earlier by 30 freaking points. Okay, that's a 41-point swing to the right. That's called a political realignment. Trump's share of the Latino vote surged to 48% in Texas, up from 41% in 2020. And Latino men voted for Trump by 10 points. And so how are the Democrats' reactions to Maduro's arrest playing among Latinos right now? I mean, again, how did someone as anti-Trump as Ana Navarro react? You see, this is the utter brilliance of Trump. By arresting Maduro, he's now forced the Democrats to confirm the worst fears of Hispanics. By defending Maduro, progressive Democrats have validated every warning Republicans have made about the party's socialist sympathies. They're literally fundraising off anger about arresting a drug trafficking dictator. The DNC, as we speak, is sending emails to donors expressing outrage that Maduro's in custody. For Venezuelan Americans who spent years following the legal immigration process, playing by the rules, paying fees, waiting in backlogs, this is the ultimate betrayal. They watch Biden ease sanctions on Maduro, grant oil licenses, and essentially legitimize his regime. Now they're watching Democrats defend him after his arrest. You see, this isn't just about one military operation. It's about a fundamental political realignment. For decades, Democrats counted on Latino voters as a reliable bloc. But starting in 2020, that coalition began fracturing. Trump's warnings about socialism, his condemnation of Maduro, his economic message, populism, resonated with immigrants who had experienced leftist policies firsthand. By 2024, Trump achieved a record 42% of the Latino vote, shattering George W. Bush's previous Republican record. And now, with Democrats defending the very dictator millions of Latinos risked everything to escape, that shift could become permanent. Now, let's put all of this together here. What precisely is the Trump coalition? A lot of people don't realize this, but the Trump coalition is actually the Obama coalition transformed. You got to get that. The Trump coalition is actually the Obama coalition transformed. The Obama coalition of 2008 was made up of working class voters, Latinos, and we didn't call them Gen Z back then, but under 30 voters. Okay, so working class voters, both white and non-white, they're the ones who helped deliver states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and Iowa twice for Obama. The Latino vote helped Obama win Florida twice, particularly Miami-Dade. And the Gen Z vote, voters under 30, they help basically win everything else. So these are the voters who have been progressive, the working class Latinos and Gen Z voters. These are the voters who have been increasingly defecting over to Trump since they become so disillusioned with the Democrats over the last 10 years. So putting it all together, Which political constituent is the biggest supporter for Trump's tariffs? Do you know? Every poll shows it. It's the working class, particularly unions. Union workers are the biggest supporters of tariffs. In fact, the Teamsters, for the first time ever, are abandoning the Democrats and pouring millions of dollars into Republican campaigns across the country for the midterms. That's how much they support tariffs. We already saw how Latinos are the biggest supporters for the Maduro arrests, as well as taking out the communist regime in Cuba, which Trump is already threatening to do in the days ahead. And then Trump's war on wokeness, along with his tackling affordability issues, resonates most particularly with Gen Z, particularly with Gen Z men. Trump didn't just give millions of Latino voters exactly what they wanted in bringing accountability to the regime that stole their country. He's delivering on all fronts for a new America First coalition that promises to realign our politics for the foreseeable future. Working class, Latinos, Gen Z men. If Trump delivers for all of them over the course of this next year, we're looking at a coalition for the foreseeable future unlike anything we've ever seen. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below. And as always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button for breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else. Love you guys. God bless. Hey, gang, before you go, if you want more conversations like this, check out Turley Walks. It's my free preview at the Courageous Patriot Club, where I share stories and perspective on faith, family, and freedom. Head on over to turley.pub/Turley Walks. It's completely free.